Hey guys, for today's video we are going to be doing a first impressions of the new Colourpop x Disney Villains collection. And I don't know about you guys, but I am literally beyond excited about this collection. Like, Disney villains for me are like my all-time favorite. I'm not ever like a princess type of person. I'm just not into like the girly vibe. I like the villains, I like the darkness, I like their evil laugh. And this collection just honestly really spoke to me and I cannot wait to use it with you guys. So with this collection, I did pick up a couple of things, one of which is the Misunderstood palette, and I feel like this palette is the star of the show with this collection. I mean, honestly, like the packaging alone is just so cool, and when I got it this morning, I really wanted to just deep dive into it like right away, and I was like, I have to wait, I have to film with it, and I'm just so excited to see what I can create with this palette. I also did pick up the Maleficent collection, and Maleficent is my all-time favorite villain. Like, I love her so much. I love her colors, I love purple and green together, I love her evil laugh, I love like just how she presents herself, I love the headdress and her outfit. I think she is just so cool. Not to mention, like, Sleeping Beauty was my all-time favorite movie when I was little. Aurora used to be my favorite princess until she was a bitch to me in Disneyland when I was little. And I don't know, and even like the new version of Maleficent, it's just, I love that movie so much. And Angelina Jolie is just, oh, she's one of my favorites. So I'm just extremely excited about this collection. Like, I don't normally get like this excited about collections, but this one in particular, I'm just like over the moon. And the last thing that I did pick up with this collection is the Dr. Facilier Lux Lipstick. I just honestly wanted it for the color. I have never seen the movie that associates with him. I just thought it was really pretty and I wanted to try it. But yeah, so with that said, I do want to share with you guys a little bit more information about the items themselves. So the first item that we are going to go over is the Misunderstood palette, which retails for $22 on Colourpop's website. And then here is the front of the packaging, which I think is just so cool and so unique. And then also, if you are interested, here is what the back of the palette looks like. So once we open up the palette, there is no mirror in here, unfortunately, but there is a really cute design on the top. And then in this palette, there are 15 eyeshadows, 5 of which are matte, and then the rest are shimmer. So the next item that we are going to go over in this collection is the Maleficent collection, which retails for $25 on Colourpop's website. In this collection, you get a Lux Lipstick, a Super Shock Shadow Highlighter, and an Ultra Glossy Lip. And then here's an up-close of the packaging itself. It gives kind of like a neon sign kind of vibe, which I am all for. And then on the sides, if you see, like there's some roses and kind of like thorns, which is a really, really cute touch. And then the back of the palette, if I can turn it right, it just says Maleficent and then tells you what's inside, but I really love like this kind of like vibe to it. It's just super pretty. Another really cute touch about the packaging is how you open it. You open it from the side and everything really presents itself to you, which I think is a super cute touch. So in this set, there is a Lux lipstick called Maleficent, and then here's the outer packaging, which I think is really cute. It's kind of like a matte gunmetal kind of shade with a kind of like silver detailing to it. It's really pretty. And then when we open it up, and then here is the shade itself. And then it says Villains on the side. But this is kind of like a really beautiful kind of like raspberry shade. As for the Super Shock highlighter, this one is in Mistress of All Evil, and as you can see, it does really mimic the collection box that it was in. And it has like that Maleficent on the front, and then on the back it also says Maleficent with the rose kind of detail to it. And then once we open up the highlighter, this one actually contains a mirror. I wish that the palette did, honestly, as well. And then there is the beautiful highlighter itself, which is kind of like a champagne type of shade. And the last item in the Maleficent set is this Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade My Pet, which is kind of like an iridescent kind of purpley green shade. It is super pretty. I will go over swatches of everything in a little bit, but overall, I think the packaging of this is just so cute. And the last item that I did pick up in this collection is the Dr. Facilier Lux Lipstick, and again, it has like that super cute neon sign type of vibe. And again, the outer casing of the lipstick itself has the exact same packaging of the Maleficent one, and then when we open it, here is the shade itself, which is kind of like a kind of mauve-y type of wearable shade in my opinion. But yeah, so with that said, let's jump into the tutorial portion of this video, and then later on in the video I will include some swatches for you guys. Off camera, I did already prime my eyelids, and I'm now going to go into this matte white shade called No Spots with this Real Techniques medium shadow brush. I'm just taking a little bit on my brush, and then I'm going to use it to lightly set my eyeshadow primer. I'm just doing a really light wash too, just to get rid of some of the tackiness. So the next shade that I'm going to go into out of the palette is called Tragic, and I'm going to go in with this Makeup of the Day Build and Blend brush. And then with Tragic, I'm going to be applying it into my crease and blending it upwards towards my brow bone, and I'm going to be using this shade as a transitional shade. I'm also going to use it to kind of round out my outer V just a little bit. So the next shade that I'm going to go into is called Forest of Thorns, which is the purple in the palette, and I'm going to go in with this Luxe 229 tapered blending brush. And then with Forest of Thorns, I'm adding it into the inner third above my crease. So kind of, it's like not, I'm adding it to like my crease, and then I'm kind of blending it upwards a little bit. Now I'm only going about a third of the way. So kind of like that. Like I want it like where kind of like my nose starts right here in my eye, and then kind of go a third of the way, but I don't want anything on the lid. I know this looks a little crazy, but trust me, it'll look super cool once we get the look kind of put together in the crease a little bit more. So the next shade that we are going to go into is called the Fates, which is the navy in the palette, and I'm going to go in with the Sigma E35. Now this is a really bold move, but I'm going to apply this into my crease and then start doing little circular motions to blend it upwards towards my brow bone. And I'm working in a really light layer with barely any product on my brush, just to see like how it works, because I have not used this palette yet. So I'm kind of being a little ballsy right now to see what it's going to do. But I'm hoping that I can get like a really nice kind of blue transition shade if I work in a really light layer. So what I'm doing is placing the product into my crease really heavily, just to make sure that every kind of loose bit is into my crease where I want it like the deepest. And then I'm just kind of fluffing it upwards with these little circular motions. I'm also kind of bringing it into the purple just a little bit. And to help me further blend the purple into the blue, I'm taking a little bit of purple again on that Luxe 229. I'm going right along the seam of the blue and the purple. I'm doing back and forth motions just to blend the two together. You may have to go in with a little bit more of that blue again just to get a really nice gradient fade, but it'll seriously look so cool. So here's where I'm at right now with the look, and then off camera I'm just going to cut my crease using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Fair. So here's where I'm at right now with the look after doing the cut crease, and I'm just going to take a little bit of the Fates on this Real Techniques shading brush, and I'm just going to pack it on this really harsh concealer line right here. I'm just packing it right on there just to kind of mask it. So the next shade that I'm going to go into out of the palette is called Jetsam. It's kind of like a shimmery navy blue, and I'm going to go in with the Shayna B Miami shadow brush. And then with Jetsam, I'm going to really kind of pack this on into the outer third of my eye with this brush dampened, just to get it really kind of shimmery and pigmented. Ooh, that shade's actually really pretty, holy shit. It's kind of like a navy-based kind of color, and then it has like brighter blue shimmer. It's like really interesting. It almost has like a teal reflect to it as well. So the next shade that I'm going to go into is called Faciliate, and it's kind of like a forest green shimmer shade, and I'm going to go in with this BH Cosmetics flat shader brush. And with this brush dampened, I'm going to apply Faciliate to the center of my lid, and I'm overlapping it just a little bit with that Jetsam shade. I want like this kind of deep green kind of pop of color right here. I'm just really packing it onto the lid. I'm not doing back and forth motions because you will lose the shimmer quality of the eyeshadow. So I'm really like pressing it into the concealer. So next with this BH Cosmetics flat shader brush, I am now going to go into the lime green in the palette called Diablo. And then with this shade, I'm going to apply it into the inner third of my eye and then kind of bring it into the center as well. Ooh, that shade though, oh, that is so pretty. Holy shit, that is a beautiful shade. But yeah, so here's where I'm at right now with the look, and then off camera, I'm just going to apply my foundation and all of that. So here's where I'm at right now with the look, and then now I'm going to take this Milani Supreme Kohl Kajal in the shade Black. I'm just going to line my waterline. A little bit heavier. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit because we are going to kind of smoke out the lower lash line a little bit. Just to get like that villain vibe. And then with this Eco Toe smudge brush, I'm just going to kind of buff out the edges just a little bit. And then on this Eco Toe shading brush, I'm just going to apply that blue shade from earlier, the matte one. I'm just running it right along the liner and then kind of smoking it downwards just a little bit. Once you are done smoking out the lower lash line, I'm now going to go into Diablo again with this Luxe pencil brush. And with this brush dampened, I'm going to take Diablo and really heavily apply it into my inner tear duct. I'm also bringing it a little bit underneath the eye as well and kind of connecting it with that blue and the black underneath the lower lash line. And then with this teeny tiny brush from BH Cosmetics, I am now going to go into Mongrels. And then with this shade, I'm applying it in the inner corner where it kind of points. I'm applying it like in the center of the green. And it kind of just gives like the inner corner kind of like a glow effect, which I think is like really cool. And then for lips today, I did have the intention of using Maleficent, but I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. Like when I look at it on my hand, it just doesn't give me like that vibe that I'm going for. Like I'm going for like a villain vibe, but I don't know, like this is more like a summer shade to me. Like, and it's kind of glossy too, and I would rather have a matte lip. So I think I'm gonna pass on this one. And then for lips today, I am going to go in with the Dr. Facilier Lux Lipstick. I'm hoping that this one matches really well, but if not, I'll just grab something out of my collection. And then for highlighter today, I am going to go in with Mistress of All Evil with this Sigma F03 brush. And then with this highlighter, I'm going to apply to my cheekbones and then up around my brow. I have never tried out a Super Shock highlighter before, so I'm really excited about the formula because I've heard great things. And it seems like it's not super blinding. I'm going to change my brush real quick. And I'm just going to take my trusty AOA Studio F19 brush and then reapply right on top. It's actually a really pretty glow. It's not super blinding. It's not as blinding as I thought it was going to be, I'll be honest. And I'm going... Oh yeah, this one actually gave me that dreaded like shadow. I don't know if you can see it, but like right here I have like a kind of a strip of shadow right here. So if you are as fair as me, this probably wouldn't be the best highlighter for your skin color. I also do want to show you guys what this lip would look like with a gloss. This one is the Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade My Pet. So here's the finished look, and honestly, I feel like this look is really cool. It's kind of like smoky, yet it's really colorful. For today's look, I really wanted to do something a little bit more on the villainy side, a little bit dark magic-esque, and I wanted to also play with a little bit of color. And I feel like this look kind of paired all of those together. So with all of that said, I do want to share with you guys my thoughts and opinions about each of the products that we used today. The first being the Misunderstood palette, which I feel is definitely the star of this show throughout this whole collection. I actually really enjoyed this palette. I thought it was so much fun to play with, and I really honestly love the color story in this one. It is definitely more of a kind of grunge palette in my opinion, like something a little bit darker. I know a lot of people online weren't really happy that this was not a brighter palette, but I feel like this palette actually kind of screams villains to me. If anything was more brighter in tone, I feel like it just wouldn't have that vibe. And I just feel like I'm going to be getting a lot of use out of this palette. I didn't honestly have any issues with any of these colors not blending right or not being like pigmented or any of that. I feel like this palette was just really easy to use. It was really fun to play with as well. So the next item that I want to go over with you guys is the Maleficent Collection. As far as the Super Shock highlighter goes, I actually really enjoy the formula of it. It's one of those highlighters where you can apply it really lightly and get a natural sheen, or you can build it up to be super blinding, and not to mention the packaging of this one is just so cute. I love Maleficent. I just love the kind of aesthetic of this highlighter. Unfortunately though, the color of this one just does not work out for my skin tone, which is very typical since I am extremely fair. So for me to be able to use this one, I'm going to have to mix it with something else, or I could also use it as an inner corner highlight. As far as the Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade My Pet, I actually really enjoyed this gloss, and I'm really surprised as to how wearable it is. I thought it was going to be one of those glosses that's like way out there and it's going to be a little eccentric, but this one definitely is very wearable, and I actually really enjoy it paired with this lipstick color. As for the Lux Lipsticks in the shade Dr. Faciliate and Maleficent, I actually really enjoy them. I have not tried out Maleficent yet on my lips. I did swatch it on the back of my hand, and the formula is no different than any of my other Lux lipsticks that I have in the same formula. I just really enjoyed this type of lipstick from Colourpop. If you have not tried out a Lux lipstick, I do highly recommend it. They are one of my all-time favorite formulas. They wear so beautifully. They're very comfortable on the lips. Not to mention the shade Dr. Faciliate is probably going to be a new favorite of mine. And if you're like, Breyonna, what would you recommend out of this collection? What should I pass on? I would definitely recommend the Misunderstood palette, especially if you are looking for a really nice smoky palette. This one is honestly so beautiful. I really enjoy the formula of these eyeshadows, and I cannot wait to use it more. The mattes were so easy to blend out, and the shimmers in here were super metallic. I had no issues with them. I didn't have a crazy amount of fallout either. I just felt like this palette was just a lot of fun to use. I would also recommend picking up one of the Lux lipsticks if you are really interested in any of the shades. I know there wasn't really a lot to choose from with this one, but if you want it for like the really cool kind of edgy packaging, I would definitely recommend it alone for that. But if you have never tried out a Lux lipstick, Colourpop has so many to choose from. I would definitely pick up like maybe like one or two next time you place an order. They are honestly one of my all-time favorite formulas. As far as the Ultra Glossy Lip, I feel like this one's really pretty in color, and the formula is super nice since it is not sticky or tacky. However, there is really honestly nothing unique about this one unless you are looking at the packaging of it. So, I mean, if you want it for the packaging, I would get it alone for that since it is a limited edition, but other than that, I feel like it's just a gloss. And last but not least, for the Super Shock highlighter, I feel like this one's really pretty and I really want to love it. However, the color is just, it does not work for my skin color. But if you are a little bit more deeper in skin tone than I am and you aren't pasty white, you will probably really enjoy this. It is definitely a beautiful champagne highlighter. But yeah, so with that said, I do want to share some swatches with you guys. So first things first, we are going to swatch the eyeshadow palette. No Spots, Mongrels, Diablo, Devious, Tragic, Underworld, Pain and Panic, Forest of Thorns, Jetsam, The Fates, Revenge, Sing, Jetsam, Faciliate, 101. Later in the shade Mistress of All Evil, Maleficent. Ooh, I kind of goofed that one up. Dr. Facilier. And Ultra Glossy Lip in My Pet. But yeah, so in the comments down below, let me know what your thoughts are on this collection, and as always, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below, and if you would like to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram account is @lethal_kitten. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and until next time, bye!